Welcome back to the channel Liberty Coin Value. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most astonishing stories in the numismatic world, a story that revolves around a humble yet extraordinarily rare 1993 United States 1-cent coin that has stunned collectors and experts alike with a jaw-dropping estimated value of $98.6 million. Yes, you heard that right, almost $100 million for a single penny. But how could a coin with a face value of just 1 cent be worth tens of millions of dollars? What secrets does it hold? What minting errors, rare features, or historical anomalies make this coin so extraordinary? Stay with us as we unravel the truth behind this modern-day treasure. To begin our journey, we need to travel back to 1993, a year that may not stand out in coin history for most people, but one that marked the creation of a coin that would later gain mythical status among collectors. The Denver Mint, one of the primary facilities for minting U.S. coins, produced hundreds of millions of pennies that year, many of which entered regular circulation and remain in pockets, drawers, and piggy banks across the country. Yet among this sea of ordinary coins, one particular 1993 cent emerged, crafted with errors and anomalies so rare that it transformed an everyday coin into an ultra-valuable collector's item. To understand why, we have to explore the many dimensions that make a coin valuable: rarity, historical context, physical condition, and perhaps most importantly, minting mistakes. Because in the world of coins, mistakes can be worth millions. The 1993 penny was struck in an era when the U.S. Mint had already transitioned from bronze and copper compositions to a zinc core with a thin copper plating, which started in 1982. While most of the coins produced since then looked and felt similar, some rare anomalies in materials and minting conditions have led to unique variations. One of the possibilities with the 1993 penny is that it may have been accidentally struck on a leftover bronze planchet from earlier decades, an incredibly rare occurrence given the strict quality control standards at the Mint. If such a planchet had accidentally made its way into the presses at the Denver Mint in 1993, the resulting coin would be drastically different in weight, color, and composition from others of its year. Collectors are known to go to extreme lengths to obtain such rarities, especially if authenticated by reputable grading services like PCGS or NGC. Now, let's consider the importance of mint marks. The D mark beneath the date signifies that this coin was minted in Denver, but what if the mint mark itself was incorrectly punched or doubled? Errors like a repunched mint mark, RPM, or a misplaced mint mark are highly desirable in the numismatic community. If the 1993 penny exhibits one of these rare traits, it could greatly enhance its value. A repunched D, especially if visibly separated or misaligned, would make it an error coin. In fact, repunched mint marks are a collector's dream because they indicate a manual mistake in the die preparation process, which was being phased out in favor of more modern techniques around that time. That transitional period between manual and automated systems opens the door to many unexpected minting quirks. Another possibility is that the coin might have been struck with a doubled die, a phenomenon in which the design elements on the coin appear doubled due to a misalignment in the die itself. Doubled die obverse or doubled die reverse errors are among the most coveted in U.S. coin history, with the 1955 doubled die Lincoln cent being one of the most famous examples. If the 1993 penny displays clear doubling on Lincoln's profile, date, motto, or any lettering, then its value skyrockets, especially if the error is strong and prominent. These doubling effects aren't caused by movement during the strike, which is known as mechanical doubling and not as valuable. True doubled dies occur during the creation of the die itself, making each coin struck with it a unique piece of minting history. But the story doesn't end with what we can see. There are internal minting errors, known as die cracks, die clashes, cuds, and off-center strikes that also add significant value. A die crack creates a raised line on the coin where the die has fractured. A cud is a blob of metal that appears on the rim of the coin, usually indicating a piece of the die has broken off. A die clash occurs when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between, imprinting unintended parts of the design onto the opposite die. If our rare 1993 penny contains any of these elements, especially in combination, they multiply its value exponentially. Coins with multiple errors are incredibly scarce and often become legendary within numismatic circles. Condition is another crucial factor in determining value. Coin grading is a specialized skill that evaluates a coin's wear, luster, strike quality, and overall appearance. If the 1993 D penny in question has survived over 3 decades in uncirculated or mint state condition, particularly in grades MS65 or higher, it becomes even more valuable. Coins graded MS68 or MS69 are virtually flawless and extremely rare. Only a handful of coins from any year ever reach these elite grading levels. Combine a high grade with major errors or an unusual composition, and you have the perfect storm for an astronomical valuation. Now, let's consider the rumors and possibilities that fuel the $98.6 million valuation. Some collectors believe that only one such 1993 D error coin exists, making it a unique specimen. Others speculate that the coin was part of a limited test batch using experimental dyes or compositions never meant for circulation. There are whispers that it might have been a presentation piece, struck with extraordinary care, or even a pattern coin that somehow escaped the mint's vaults. Pattern coins are trial pieces created to test new designs or compositions. These are not supposed to be released to the public, and if they do escape, they are considered among the rarest and most sought-after pieces in U.S. coinage history. It's also possible that this 1993 D penny features an off-metal strike, where the coin is struck on a planchet intended for another denomination. Imagine a penny struck on a dime, nickel, or even a foreign planchet. These coins are exceedingly rare because they should be caught during quality checks. But mistakes happen, especially when blanks for different coins are being processed simultaneously. A penny struck on a dime planchet would be thinner, lighter, and might show incomplete design features, all of which are testable and verifiable with modern tools. One must also consider the broader context of coin collecting in recent years. The market for rare coins has exploded, driven by high-profile auctions, wealthy collectors seeking alternative investments, and increasing public interest in tangible assets. A coin with this kind of backstory, a modern rarity with verified errors, extraordinary condition, and possibly unique features, could spark a bidding war at auction, especially if presented at a prestigious event like a heritage auctions or Stack's Bowers sale. We've seen seemingly ordinary coins with the right combination of rarity and mystique sell for millions, and if the provenance of this 1993 D penny checks out, $98.6 million, while staggering, might not be out of reach. There's also the mystique factor. Every great collectible needs a story, an aura that captures the imagination. The 1993 D penny has become something of a legend in numismatic circles, passed down through forums, private collections, and whisper networks. Some believe the coin was originally found in pocket change and dismissed as ordinary, only to be rediscovered years later and authenticated. Others claim it was handed down in a family collection, with its significance only realized after careful research. Whatever the truth, the mystique adds to its value. After all, what makes a coin worth tens of millions isn't just its physical traits, it's the tale it tells, the mystery it holds, and the human fascination with uncovering hidden treasure. Furthermore, coins like this challenge our understanding of value itself. How can a coin worth 1 cent be transformed into an object worth nearly $100 million? The answer lies in the collision of rarity, error, beauty, history, and human curiosity. This coin is more than metal, it's a symbol of chance, of what can happen when an anomaly is preserved instead of discarded. It's also a wake-up call to all of us to check our change, to pay closer attention to the forgotten pennies in our jars and drawers. Because among them could lie a modern miracle of minting, and let's not forget the legal and historical implications. If this coin was never meant to be released, if it somehow escaped under mysterious circumstances, it adds an entirely new layer of intrigue. The story could span decades, involving former mint employees, accidental releases, or misidentified collections. Every twist in its history increases its legend, and thus its value. A coin like this becomes more than an object, it becomes a piece of living history, a relic of the nation's economic and cultural narrative. In closing, the 1993 D 1 cent coin stands as a testament to the extraordinary hidden in the ordinary. While millions of 1993 D pennies exist, one among them has achieved mythic status due to a unique constellation of factors: possible off-metal composition, striking errors, mint mark anomalies, doubled dies, perfect condition, historical mystery, and collector passion. Its staggering $98.6 million valuation is not just about scarcity, it's about wonder. It's about the thrill of discovery, the meticulous study of detail, and the we're going to explore the astonishing tale behind the 1995 United States 1-cent coin, commonly known as the Lincoln penny, a coin that, despite its face value of just 1 cent, has captured the attention of collectors and experts worldwide due to a combination of rare errors, unique minting conditions, and historical anomalies that have propelled its estimated market worth to an unbelievable $80 million in some cases. This mind-blowing valuation isn't just based on myths or speculative hype. It's grounded in real, observable minting mistakes, known varieties, unexplained production defects, and the rarity of such error combinations all occurring in a single specimen. The 1995 penny in question has transcended its humble beginnings as pocket change and become a symbol of numismatic intrigue, investment potential, and the curious unpredictability of the U.S. Mint's production process during that decade. The journey of the 1995 Lincoln cent begins like most others, with the intention of minting billions of identical, unremarkable coins to serve the daily transactional needs of Americans. However, every so often, a perfect storm of mistakes, oversights, and malfunctions during the minting process creates an unintentional masterpiece, a numismatic anomaly that catches the attention of collectors and drives demand through the roof. In the case of the 1995 penny, the primary reason for its notoriety is the presence of dramatic and highly visible doubling on the obverse side, particularly in the inscription, "In God We Trust," which appears to have a shadow-like doubling effect caused by a misalignment in the die during production. This doubling, officially classified as a double die, was initially dismissed by many but eventually confirmed by experts and catalogued in coin databases as a legitimate mint error. Unlike simple strike-throughs or minor off-centers, a true double die is the result of a flaw during the creation of the die itself, not during the coin striking process. This means the error was replicated across multiple coins, and although tens of thousands may have been struck, the vast majority slipped into circulation and were lost, worn down, or destroyed. The few remaining in pristine or uncirculated condition, particularly those with clean doubling visible under magnification or even with the naked eye, quickly became highly desirable. The value of these coins climbed steadily, and the most pristine specimens, those graded MS-67 or higher by professional grading services like PCGS and NGC, have fetched tens of thousands of dollars at auction. But what about a coin commanding a price as astronomical as $80 million? What kind of coin error or unique combination of minting flaws would be needed to justify such an eye-popping figure? To begin with, the $80 million valuation doesn't apply to just any 1995 penny with a double die obverse. Rather, it refers to a singular or extremely small group of specimens that exhibit a confluence of multiple, highly rare errors that go far beyond the common DDO, double die obverse, variety. Imagine a scenario where a 1995 penny not only features a bold double die on the obverse but also shows a dramatic off-center strike, a repunched mint mark, RPM, a rotated die alignment, and possibly even a transitional metal composition error, say, a planchet that was intended for a foreign coin or struck on a leftover bronze planchet from pre-1982 stock. Such a coin would not just be a rare error, it would be an unprecedented numismatic event. Some experts believe that one or more such coins exist in private collections or have been briefly surfaced and then retracted from public auction to avoid scrutiny or unwanted attention. In the world of ultra-rare coins, secrecy and discretion often surround transactions of this magnitude, particularly when insurance, legal verification, and custodianship are involved. For a coin to be valued at $80 million, there must be something more than just visual error. It must represent a once-in-a-century discovery, a coin with a provenance, a story, and a level of verification so airtight that it becomes the Mona Lisa of modern U.S. coins. One such possibility centers on the idea that during the transitional period of die creation in early 1995, an experimental or test die was accidentally used to strike circulation coins. This die may have featured experimental lettering, spacing, or design tweaks never meant to see public release. Combined with the known die doubling issue, the accidental release of test dies would elevate the coin's rarity exponentially. Now add to this the possibility that the planchet itself was an anomaly, either composed of a metal alloy intended for another country's coinage, or a leftover bronze flan from pre-1982 when Lincoln cents were still made of 95% copper instead of the copper-plated zinc used afterward. The weight of a standard 1995 penny should be around 2.5 grams. But some rare specimens have been reported at weights significantly higher, suggesting either overstrikes or planchet substitution. If a coin of this nature was struck on a 3.11 gram bronze planchet from the 1981 to 1982 transitional period, it would not only represent a major minting mistake but also defy known mint records, which adds to the mystery and value. A coin that defies minting history, challenges documented procedure, and includes multiple high-grade minting anomalies is the holy grail for collectors. The situation becomes even more compelling when you factor in the concept of die rotation. Normally, the obverse and reverse dies should be aligned so that when the coin is flipped top to bottom, both sides appear upright. However, on some rare coins, the dies are misaligned, resulting in rotated die errors, sometimes as dramatic as 90 or even 180 degrees. A 1995 penny exhibiting strong die doubling, struck on a bronze planchet, with a repunched mint mark and a rotated die error would be in a category entirely of its own, possibly even the only one of its kind in existence. Combine this with immaculate, uncirculated condition and a provenance trail linked to respected numismatic authorities or historical auctions, and you now have a coin worthy of an 8-figure valuation. But even with all of these physical errors and anomalies, the cultural and historical context of the 1995 penny adds additional value. The 1990s marked a transitional phase in U.S. coinage production, where increased automation at the U.S. Mint introduced new efficiencies but also new types of errors. Collectors from that period began to take a renewed interest in error coins, and as knowledge spread through coin clubs, publications, and eventually the Internet, awareness of doubled dies and transitional errors grew. The 1995 DDO penny was one of the first modern coins to achieve widespread fame among error collectors, especially among younger numismatists and entry-level hobbyists, who viewed it as an affordable way to begin their collection. This mass appeal fueled demand for even basic specimens, but those few coins that stood head and shoulders above the rest began to develop a cult following. It's worth mentioning that professional grading companies have played a crucial role in establishing the legitimacy and value of error coins like the 1995 DDO penny. Coins graded by PCGS and NGC not only receive numeric grades based on their condition but also special designations indicating known varieties or unique errors. A coin labeled 1995 double die obverse with an MS68 grade and a CAC, Certified Acceptance Corporation, sticker of approval would be a top-tier specimen. Now imagine that same coin also bearing a label indicating a mint mark anomaly, rotated die, bronze planchet, and being a discovery coin or unique specimen. All of these factors combine to create astronomical market demand. Auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, and Great Collections have previously handled extremely rare coins that fetched millions, and sometimes the provenance of a coin. The fact that it was owned by a famous collector, or featured in a museum exhibition, adds an intangible but very real layer of value. If the rumored $80 million 1995 penny has such a provenance, or was part of a historically significant hoard, its valuation begins to make more sense, especially in the eyes of elite collectors willing to pay any price for ownership of a true American numismatic legend. The market for such coins isn't limited to the United States either. Wealthy collectors from Asia, the Middle East, and Europe are increasingly entering the U.S. coin market, viewing rare coins as tangible, portable assets immune to traditional market fluctuations. To them, an $80 million coin is not just an expense but an investment, and a symbol of status. With rare coin prices climbing steadily over the past 2 decades and a global resurgence in interest in physical collectibles, it's not inconceivable that a once-cent piece could now be worth tens of millions. In conclusion, the 1995 Lincoln penny is no longer just a coin. It's a canvas of history, a fingerprint of human error, and a testament to the unpredictable beauty of the minting process. While thousands of 1995 double-die pennies exist, only a microscopic fraction contain the full constellation of ultra-rare errors and traits that would warrant a valuation as immense as $80 million. These coins represent the pinnacle of error collecting, where every imperfection, anomaly, and deviation from the norm enhances the story and the value. Whether or not you ever find one in your pocket change, the hunt itself is what fuels the passion of collectors around the world. Every time you see a penny, especially a 1995 version, take a moment to look. We're diving deep into the incredible story of the 1998 United States 1-cent coin, also known as the Lincoln cent, A seemingly ordinary coin that has stunned collectors and numismatists with a mind-blowing valuation of $69.9 million. Yes, you heard that right. One small copper-plated zinc coin, minted in the city of Denver in 1998 and bearing a tiny D mint mark, is believed by some collectors to be worth nearly $70 million due to an astonishing combination of minting anomalies, historical significance, die errors, misalignments, composition irregularities, and an aura of extreme rarity that elevates it beyond the realm of ordinary collectibles and into the upper echelons of numismatic legends. So buckle up as we explore every detail, error, possibility, and numismatic curiosity surrounding this remarkable coin that continues to baffle experts and drive collectors into bidding wars. The story of the 1998 D1-cent coin begins in an era when the United States Mint was producing billions of Lincoln cents every year. In 1998 alone, over 5.2 billion pennies were struck at various mint facilities, including Philadelphia and Denver, the latter indicated by the D mint mark. Most of these coins were standard issue pieces made from copper-plated zinc, weighing about 2.5 grams, and designed with the familiar bust of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. These coins circulated widely and were used in everyday transactions across the nation. However, among these billions, a few rare anomalies slipped through the cracks, coins that were not minted to exact specifications due to unusual errors during the production process. One such coin, the 1998 D penny, became the subject of heated speculation when a unique specimen was discovered that deviated from the norm in multiple, extraordinary ways, triggering a surge in interest among elite collectors and auction houses. This particular coin is believed to possess a complex blend of multiple errors, and each error contributes to its incredible valuation. First, let's explore the most likely and widely discussed error that contributes to this coin's immense value, a double die obverse, commonly referred to as a DDO. This error occurs when the coin die used to strike the obverse is improperly manufactured, resulting in the doubling of the design elements. When a coin is struck with such a die, the inscriptions, most notably the word Liberty, the motto, In God We Trust, and the date, 1998, may appear noticeably doubled. While doubled die coins exist for several years of the Lincoln cent, they are rare and highly collectible. If a 1998 D penny exhibits strong doubling on the obverse, especially around key inscriptions, it could dramatically increase its market value. Collectors are known to pay exorbitant sums for such errors, particularly when the doubling is dramatic and clearly visible to the naked eye. Combine that with a low population of known specimens, and you have the perfect recipe for a multi-million-dollar valuation. Another possibility that adds to the lore of the 1998 D penny is the existence of off-center strikes. These occur when the planchet, the blank disc that is struck to become a coin, is not properly centered between the dies, resulting in a coin where part of the design is missing or shifted. A coin struck 5% to 10% off-center might be interesting, but coins struck 30% or more off-center, while still showing the date and mint mark, can command huge premiums. Imagine a 1998 D penny where Lincoln's bust is partially missing, the inscriptions are skewed or incomplete, and the reverse design is visibly shifted. Such a dramatic minting flaw could elevate an ordinary coin into the upper echelons of numismatic collecting, especially if it remains in high-grade uncirculated condition. The sheer visual impact of such an error makes it not just a collectible, but a showpiece worthy of attention at major coin conventions and auctions. Then there's the possibility of a transitional error, one of the most intriguing and valuable types of mint mistakes in coin collecting history. Transitional errors occur when a coin is struck using specifications from a previous or future year. For example, if a 1998 D penny were somehow struck on a planchet intended for another coin, such as a 10-cent piece or a foreign coin blank, this would make the coin incredibly rare. These off-metal errors are often discovered accidentally and are confirmed by weighing the coin or using X-ray fluorescence spectroscopy to analyze its composition. A 1998 D penny struck on a silver-colored dime planchet would not only look completely different from its copper-plated siblings but would also raise eyebrows across the coin community. These types of errors are so rare and visually distinct that they often fetch 6- or 7-figure sums at auction, depending on condition, visibility, and documentation. Another known error that could apply to a 1998 D penny is the broad strike, where a coin is struck without the collar that helps shape its edge. As a result, the coin flattens and expands slightly beyond the normal dimensions, lacking a defined rim. A broad-struck 1998 decent in uncirculated condition, especially if accompanied by other errors such as doubling or a rotated die, could become the stuff of legend. These coins are visually distinct and unmistakably flawed in a way that excites collectors who specialize in error coins. A broad-struck penny that still retains clear detail on both sides and maintains its original luster is not just rare, it is numismatically fascinating. Perhaps the most visually compelling of errors is the die cap, or cap die error, in which a coin becomes stuck to a die and strikes subsequent planchets, creating distorted or ghost-like impressions. If a 1998 D penny was the result of such an error, the coin would have an unusually concave or convex shape, with smeared or blurry details on one or both faces. These types of errors are dramatic and command enormous interest due to their odd appearance and technical rarity. A die cap error on a 1998 D cent, particularly if it resulted in a distinctive distortion of the Lincoln portrait or the Lincoln Memorial, could make the coin a unique specimen unlike anything else from that year's mintage. Mint mark anomalies also play a huge role in increasing a coin's value. The D mint mark on the 1998 D penny indicates it was struck at the Denver Mint. However, if the mint mark was repunched, meaning it was punched more than once, resulting in a visible shadow or doubling, it would significantly increase the coin's appeal. Repunched mint marks, or RPMs, are popular among error coin enthusiasts, especially when the anomaly is sharp and well-defined. If this 1998 D cent showcases a clear repunched D, with separated impressions, especially visible under magnification, that alone could add thousands to its value. Combine this with other errors, such as doubling or an off-center strike, and you're looking at a numismatic jackpot. In addition to errors, condition plays a vital role in a coin's valuation. If this specific 1998 D penny was preserved in pristine, uncirculated condition, graded MS69 or higher by a professional grading service, it would be one of the finest known examples in existence. The coin's original luster, sharp strike, and absence of post-mint damage would make it stand out even without any dramatic errors. But when you combine a top-tier grade with multiple mint errors, the value multiplies exponentially. Auction houses and collectors often compete fiercely over coins that are not only flawed in fascinating ways but also maintained in near-perfect condition, making them once-in-a-lifetime acquisitions. There's also the possibility of a mule error, where a coin is struck with dies intended for different denominations or years. While exceedingly rare, mule errors are among the most valuable types of mint mistakes. If a 1998 D penny was struck with the reverse of a different coin, such as a Roosevelt dime, or even a commemorative issue, it would become an anomaly with almost no known equals. These types of errors often make headlines and fetch enormous sums at high-profile auctions. While there are no officially confirmed mules involving the 1998 D cent, the mere possibility adds a layer of mystique and speculation that further fuels its astronomical valuation. Then comes the speculative and historical aspect. Numismatics is not just about the physical coin but also the story behind it. If this particular 1998 D penny was discovered in a unique context, such as being part of a mint official's personal collection, found in a bank vault sealed for decades, or uncovered in a hoard of error coins stored and forgotten, it would gain a narrative that elevates its desirability. Stories, especially those rooted in mystery, provenance, or discovery, often become as valuable as the coin itself. A well-documented backstory can drive up prices among collectors who are looking not just for a rare object but for a slice of history. In the modern age of collecting, digital platforms, social media, and global auctions have also played a role in elevating the status and price of rare coins. If this 1998 D penny was featured in viral videos, collector forums, or covered in numismatic publications, its fame would grow far beyond the coin collecting community. With every repost, comment, and speculative article, the coin's legend increases, and so does its market value. Sometimes, value is driven not just by the coin itself but by the mythology that surrounds it, how rare it is believed to be, how mysterious its errors are, and how high collectors are willing to bid for a chance to own it. Ultimately, when you